Yo, how's it going? Dodgy said, what do you do if you get stopped out and your dog revenge trades for you and blows your portfolio? I don't know, my dog always ate my homework, so. T blocked me from Discord, don't know why. Usually if you get banned from the Discord, you got your account hacked. So you gotta turn on 2FA and don't get hacked. How's everyone doing though? I think we should do some top-down analysis for the assets, my ideas for going forward, and then we can get into indices, stuff like that. So we'll start with indices, and this is just going to be my top-down analysis over my thoughts, right? So we'll talk about what I was originally looking for. If you're going to try to trade away from some sort of obvious consolidation, you have to have some sort of internal range consolidation. So I was seeing with this closure through here, protecting this low, excuse me, if we were going to form a new higher low, right? Did we form a new protected swing? No, we never got the closure over. So then we form the swing the other way. This can break out, took out the range low, right? That makes sense. So now that we are at the range low, what does it make sense to do? If we have a consolidation, we run a range low, then we'd want to be looking higher, right? That's where the risk to reward is. So we have this initial move, right? This daily candle does not support expansion higher at all. Next day is consolidation. So going into today, we have a consolidation. What happens when we run the range low of this daily candle? And then we reverse. We're forming a reversal off previous day low. And then we can trade to previous day high. Now, currently, if we look at the daily chart, we have this fair value gap right here on the daily chart, right? You can see that. Let me zoom in here. Right, we have this fair value gap. So that is that previous day's high. So I'm personally looking for NQ to trade into that. Now, relative strength-wise, NQ is the strongest, YM is the weakest, ES is in the middle, right? So in terms of taking out highs, targets like that, I'm going to be wanting to focus on NQ as it's the strongest. Now let's go into the couple scenarios for the open here and the rest of this day. We've already made a pretty decent daily range, right? 500 points. So I don't have too much expectation for today. Like I'm not really just expecting price to go another 600 points and have a 1300 point range, right? But what I am looking for is we're consolidating right here, right before this previous day's highs or this fair value gap. So ideally we get NQ a run into that gap. Now the phases of price and the reaction at this gap will tell us a lot. Do we have a reversal that forms? And then who can answer in chat? If NQ forms a reversal here, what could we look for? Let's see if you guys have been paying attention. I know it's been a few weeks since I've streamed. But if NQ, the strongest asset, either short YM or ES, yeah. So if the strongest asset forms a reversal, you want to look to the weaker ones, right? So either YM or ES. I prefer ES here just because it's a cleaner range, right? So really the idea is watch the open on NQ, see the reaction at this high. With the reaction at that high, is it going to say lower? If it says lower, then focus on ES. If it doesn't say lower and we have no sort of reversal here, then, you know, I'm not as interested. You could look for ES to trade a little higher, but really we're kind of exhausted the daily range, so it's less interesting. But glad you guys got that. So that's my idea for NQ. And then based off the daily closure, you know, I would prefer this to hold up, have a nice bullish daily closure, then we can use the EQ of it as a candle 2 or candle 3 and candle 4 higher, right? And seeing price if it can trade back up into this range. That would be the most ideal to me. Now oil, we'll talk about oil. If you watch my Ninja Trader stream, I called this move from this low here up into this gap, looking for a 20% move. We got a 20% move. It's hit my target on the month, right? Because we sweep out, this is in my easy daily bias video, but it's fractal. Sweep out this previous low on the monthly. What can we look to trade back into? That EQ, right? Or the other side of the range. EQ is just an easy target, overlaps with the gap. So I was just looking for that move. Now, this is kind of similar. We aren't getting a reversal here, so it could just continue. I'm not a fan of entering here at the range. Like, I want to be entering around the open of these higher time frame candles, right? So oils like that, and then a lot of people asking about gold, silver. So you can kind of already see it. I talked about it previously. I was initially looking for gold to have a higher low here, right? Because we have this reversal here. Can we form a higher low? We don't get any sort of displacement out, right? So it fails, then I'd be looking for previous month's low. Correlated asset, silver, took out this previous month's low, formed a swing, and it's already traded and it's already expanded pretty high today, right? So to me, it's not interesting to be looking for trades right now in gold if I'm not already in something, or silver. I'm more interested in, does it close over these levels here? If it does, then it can confirm that we can trade away from this low, and then I can be looking for this range high this week. And then as for dollar, right, I'm looking for dollar to trade up into these highs, which gives me bearish foreign currencies, so mainly looking for euro lower. And I think that's everything. Bitcoin, looking for Bitcoin to trade into this high, which I spoke about previously as well. You can go check out my tweet. In here I said I'm looking for 67K on Bitcoin. So that's really it in terms of analysis. You can, I mean, GU it's just, sure, it's weak, but like it's trading above its previous month's high. Euros is down here. I mean, you could trade it as like it needs to catch up, but I prefer to just trade the weakest one. So mostly for the open, we'll probably sit here, 15-minute, 5-minute chart, just see how we trade into these levels, and then we can go from there. But let's see. Gold, I already went over gold. How do you use your fractal model for one shot, one kill? You just trade the daily and hourly fractal model. Guys, you have to realize, like, a lot of questions are, look for entries on this, this, and that. Our whole goal is to trade expansion, right? So when was the expansion? It was an overnight expansion. Do you see, look at this, ready? See how price is trending higher here? What is it doing here? It's consolidating. So it's less ideal to be seeking trades in these areas instead of when it is trending, right? You want to trade the trend. You don't want to trade after the trend, right? What has better results? Daily, hourly, 4 hour, 15, 1 hour, 5. I think it's going together. If you go look, I think most people are, best off with using daily and hourly fractal or bias, and then using the H4 and 15 model, right? So for instance, if you did that today, what would you have? You have that reverse off the previous day low. And then what do you have? You have a 4 hour fractal model right here. You have a reversal, continuation, right? And then another continuation, another continuation, another continuation. This isn't not a continuation. This is another continuation all the way into the previous day high, right? So it's like, there you go. That's what I would say is easiest, because a lot of people go to too low of time frames and you get chopped up. Let's see here. Looks like a pretty decent run. So I would honestly expect the open to expand right away due to the fact that we have SMT off this low. And then no SMT there. Actually, this low. It's same. They're all of it, right? And then we have a nice little V shape, right? So V shape there. Boom, boom, sweeping it out. Ideally, this holds. So ideally, the open respects this gap and essentially trades into the high. How about the daily profile? I mean, this is Asia reversal. It's just like, this is my only idea. CL for our 2 a.m. reversal with SMT. We can look really quick. 15-minute continuation on the 15-minute on the 7 a.m. candle longs were good. I didn't take it because I felt low confidence. I mean, if you're meaning this continuation, not a bad one. It's just, ooh, what's your target? Yeah, I mean, I see the reason for that. Like, ready? Just try to like close your eyes a little here. Right? What do we have? We have some sort of consolidation here. Right? You can see it. Like, let's just draw it out. Right? right? You see that? Where's our V-shapes? V-shape there, V-shape there. And then our target is that high. And you can mark out these. So I don't mind it with the fact that these targets are still left, right? Because you trade over this high, and then you form a continuation. So I don't mind that look, to be honest, right? And you have double SMT. It's a pretty clean formation, to be honest. Let me remove these. I don't want to have these just covered up everywhere. But I don't mind that. I already looked at Bitcoin. Let's see. Let's go back to NASDAQ. Kind of it. Not too much today. That's why I said on Twitter it's going to be a shorter stream. Just because a lot of the overnight expansion has already occurred. Right? And, you know, I could pull up my 3 charts, but I'm going to try to keep it chill. Sorry I haven't been streaming the last few weeks. I was actually out of my house for a couple weeks. There was mold in my house and I got sick and was unable to be here, so I couldn't really stream. That's why I missed a weekend of a video as well. So this is all I got. NQ strongest asset. You know, YM's kind of reversing it, but I just assume that. First live stream I catch and headed to work. Silver lining. I don't see anything worth trading this money either. And thanks again for all you do. Yeah, of course. Yes, is there a long 4-hour 15-minute with SMT on NQ? I mean, overnight, yeah, right? Like that's that overnight move. I'm not sure why you'd, I mean, sure you could trade I'm just trying to focus, like 930 brings volatility. If we have some sort of swing that I'm expecting to hold prior to 930, I'd expect it to just expand off the open. Does that make sense? Does it make more sense to be in YM or NQ before the open? Personally, for me, YM is the weakest asset, right? So why would I want to focus on that? I'd want to focus on the strongest asset, NQ. And it's closest to the strong liquidity. You have to ask yourself, is the risk to reward in here worth it? Or can you refine it down in a way to make it worth it, right? Like ideally, you know, it holds that too. But I'm not a huge fan of trying to trade protected swings that form a higher time frame gap. So there's that. How do you compare the assets to determine which is stronger? So it's great that you ask. If you go to ttrades.com, right, and you go click on this thing called education, it'll look like this, and whole entire free resource of every video, every write-up, all that. You can go to this one. Oops, that's not the screenshot. Called relative strength and weakness. Click in that and that's exactly it. Or you can search it in the search bar. So you can find all my videos, all of that. What's your bias for today, T? The red line. No, I'm not from the UK. I'm from the United States. 2 are on NQ longs. Nice one. Congrats. I already went over how to do my fractal model for a one-shot, one kill. I already answered that question for you. T, based off your previous bids, if in London session we have 15-minute, 30-minute CISD, but not with the 4-hour closure, can we find entry on it without it? You still need the 4-hour candle to support expansion, whether that's a small wick or the reversal has formed, right? But there's a daily fair value gap above. Yeah, but guys, I'm looking for price to trade into the fair value gap. I prefer the continuation into the point of interest versus trying to just guess if the point of interest forms a reversal. Like it's a lot easier to just trade the continuation. Do you ever use the RTH chart? Personally, no. I use a lot, like you could use the RTH chart, right? But like you don't have anything right now. Like you don't know what's going on to me. So for me, a lot of my analysis is built off the fact that the overnight session and what it does, right? That's what I use. So if I'm just using the RTH data, I'm just missing a core component of my strategy. I never saw your face, T. Yeah, no one sees my face. I'm like Batman. But does this whole framework make sense? Why I was looking for this? It happens there, you know. Right. And now we've hit this level at the open. But all the candles are supporting the upside. So usually this means some sort of opening move up, and then it can do whatever it wants. Right. But we can quickly review it because I know some people, why doesn't your chart move? I can move it around if I want. I just don't see a reason to be like moving my chart all the time. The whole idea behind this is all from the daily and hourly, right? Mainly from the daily. Let's go analyze it over here. We have a sweep of previous day low with a small wick, which supports expansion higher. So what's our target on that mechanically? I have a whole video on it, previous day high. Then what else do we have? We have this daily fair value gap right here, right? So looking for that to trade higher, you can trade the 4-hour, 15-minute model, anything like that, right? If we go down here, you can see how my indicator marks that up. And then as we get into the open here, ideally we want to see price trade into this level, right? But we need something to trade away from. And you look at the correlated assets, you see that ES, right, took out this low, this range low. And so that's what I was basing this SMT off of. And we took this out. So nice V shape, could look for that to trade into there. Now that we've done that, right, what are our options? What did we talk about pre-open? If NQ is to form a reversal right here, what does that make us want to do? Focus on what? ES or YM, right? You can see the strengths actually switched currently. YM stronger, NQ is weaker, right? So it's actually more interesting to focus on NQ now, but ES as well. But I'm not a huge fan of the reversal trade because it's opposing the daily range, right? If we pull this up, our daily candle opened down here, right? Once it loads in, our daily candle opened right here, right? This is fading the daily range, which I'm not a big fan of, right? You can do it. It can make sense, right? Like this is a spot where it could make sense, right? You guys were all talking about daily fair value gap. Trade into the daily fair value gap, get a reaction, right? Where we're going to go if this drops over these sessions lows, right? So we have London session low, that type of stuff. Gold. There's not too much to talk about in gold, to be honest with you guys. Like, there's an expansion. This is a retracement or a sort of a consolidation. Not the biggest fan. I'm waiting for the closure on it. I need the daily closure. What mouse do you use with your Mac? I was using the MX Master 3S, and now I have the MX Vertical. It's like a vertical mouse. It's kind of nice for my wrist and my forearm. Like more comfortable. For your subscribers that are financially not there yet, facing poor economy, unable to pay for mentorship, how can you help them? So like I said, I have this thing on my website that literally has all the information. So like, you don't need my mentorship. You can just go to this for free. Go click into here and learn it. See this button right here that says fractal model? You can click that. It'll sort the videos. And this literally only will sort videos that are related to my model. Like, you can go through all of these and you can figure out my model. You don't need to have money to do that. They're all for free. Right? So if we form a reversal here, right, what are we looking for? London session low, we can trade it back into kind of the middle of the range. Yeah. Usually when strengths are bouncing around, I prefer ES, but ES is so sus. Like, I'm just not a big fan of having 3 equal highs, even with SMT. So this might fake out. Like, it might just fake it out. Who knows? I'm gonna wait for 9:45. Right? You trade the reversal if you want, but here's the thing, guys. Let's talk about this really quick. I would be a lot more inclined to trade some sort of aggressive move like this if it was in line with my daily bias and my daily chart. This is trying to trade a reversal on every time frame. You're trying to trade the 4-hour reversal, trading the hourly reversal, 30-minute reversal, trying to trade the 15-minute reversal. So not saying this can't work and it can trade lower. I'm just saying when you're aligning timeframes together, it's a lot more preferred if you're trading with the daily candle, right? Does that make sense? We need a complete step-by-step process using the fractal model. I pretty much do that in the videos, but that's like what my course does. What's your fave setup? So it's really crazy. If we go back to my website and you see this search bar, you're gonna click in there and you're gonna type down favorite. Or it doesn't show up for favorite. I thought I titled it favorite fractal. Well, I gotta change the title on that because it's like not showing up, but T-Trade's favorite fractal model. There you go, it's right there. So you see how I was thinking that this is a fake move? Why is that? Look how sus the ES highs are. Like, guys, equal high, equal high, equal high. I don't really want to trade away from that, so I would want to see ES trade back to that, which means NQ's not reversing there. It's gonna hit this gap and come back higher. That makes sense. Like, you gotta realize, like, guys, I spent months on that website, and then each week I spend time making the stuff for it too. Do I know Lionel Messi? Do I know him personally? No. I don't know how I just know Messi. But do I know of Messi? Yeah, I know of Messi. I played soccer growing up. All right. Let's do this. All right. See who's fast today. You can use the pinned link. Just dropped a free code for a Lucid Pro 50K eval. And here's another thing, guys, right? Like, I'll give some away in chat today, but you can go to my website, right? And if you go to the prop firm section, right, it looks like this, right? And if you scroll down, every single week, I give away multiple accounts. So if you look for this week, what do we have? We have Lucid Evaluations, Apex, Tradeify. All you got to do is enter this each week, and you just get entered to win prop firm accounts. That's it. It's literally the easiest, most free way to win things. So, all right. Congrats to whoever got that. I'm assuming it's gone. Yo, it's kind of funny that code said MNQ. All right. So see, not much to do, right? It's kind of chopping around. Why is that? It has the reversal structure, but it's opposing all the higher time frames. Does that make sense? You got the account? Let's go, man. Congrats. No, I don't take trades live on stream. If I take trades, they're off stream, and that's because I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes and education purposes only, and I am not liable for your trading. So if you want to trade, you can trade. I'll talk about my ideas, but at the end of the day, if you want to become a trader, it's all down to you. I can't sit there and trade for you. Yeah, the triple top on ES. Yeah, that's kind of why we're looking for like there's just not much to do now. Right? We get that initial move which we expect, right? We expect this move into this previous high here. We don't get any confirmation of the reversal. It's very choppy, so I would expect another high to be formed here. And maybe we'll go to the 3 charts. But I'd expect another high here to be formed because I want to see ES go there, right? And if it is the stronger asset, it could go a little bit higher. You know? Let's see. How do I win evals? So there's multiple ways. You can be active in Discord. I give them away. enter on the website each week be in live streams. I will say the live stream ones are harder to win because people are fast, but I do them randomly sometimes. Or you can use code PT at Lucid, Blue, Guardian, Futures Elite. And if you use code TT, you are automatically entered to win another account. So like for instance, Futures Elite, like I don't get that many orders on it currently. So it's like you have a pretty good chance of winning it with that and Blue Guardian. Right? So those are the ways you can win. You know, if we form a reversal away from the triple top, that's quite crazy, but it's just how it might be. T trades go away, lol. You're the one in my stream, man. Do you trade Forex futures now? I've traded it before. I don't find the dollar to be ultra clean. I think it had a good clean last month. But like, you know, pretty clean this move today. Right? That's my bias. When we were talking about euro lower, right? But like, I don't know. This just isn't as interesting to me as the NASDAQ or, you know, gold and other things right now that just have better movement in my opinion. Can I share my stock portfolio? I hold a lot of different things. Like my largest holdings are ETFs, obviously, but I'll hold some single stocks when I want exposure to a single stock or more exposure to that stock. See, yeah, this is kind of annoying to be fair. It threw me off, right? Because here's the thing. We talked about our idea right before the open. What was it? Trade into gap on NQ. If NQ reverses, you guys all answered it, right? It was ES or YM shorts, right? But usually prefer ES. Right? So we had this, but this is not something I'm going to trade away from. I'm not trading away from 3 equal highs. If it looked like that, sure, right? Then you come down here and you're like, all right, cool, 3-minute candle to closure as a continuation. And there you are, right? Something like that. But the thing is I can't trade that away from those failure swings. It's just not something I do. On MES highs taken, yeah, you can get the divergence between micros and minis sometimes. See, like this would have given me a different idea. I personally focus on the minis when looking for. That's bro. Send me troops. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up Clash of Clans right now and send you troops. Indicator giveaway. Sure, we can do indicator giveaway. How about this? We're gonna do the number game for indicator, and we'll just give away 3 winners to that. We'll do it in a little because the giveaways are harder because it just takes people don't follow rules and it's harder. I watched the ideal formation video. I use it, but the intermediate time frame, like the hourly, then go to the 5-minute. But it does not have C2 or C3 to enter. How to fix it? I don't really know what you mean because here's the thing: is if you're trading a candle formation, right? Let's say it looks like this, and you're trading this as, well, we'll make it ideal, right? And let's say you have an ideal candle to closure here, right? This is dark colored, that's light colored. When I go down to the lower time frame here, my thing is I'm looking for a change in the state of delivery and then a continuation. I'm not looking for a C2 or C3 down here generally. But I'm a little confused on your question. I'd have to see an example of what you mean. I can't really visualize it. So, well, nice reversal, nice idea. You can see our whole idea, our whole bias was all right. It's just, this is something where structure doesn't align with you for your idea. What's my town hall level? 15, something like that? I don't know. I think I just updated it or upgraded it. Gold. Guys, there's nothing to talk about on gold right now. I think props have their pros and cons. Let's talk about it, right? prop firms, pros, and then we'll do some cons, right? What are some pros? Cost to entry. That's the main thing, right? That, I would say that's the pro of prop firms is cost to entry. For instance, you can pay, you know, $50 to $60 to get into it, right? Capped risk. What do I mean by capped risk? Let's say you go into here, your cost to entry is $50 to $60 and you blow it up. Your risk is just, that's all you blew up, right? If you have a 25K account with 1,500 risk and you blow it up, you're not losing 1,500, you're losing 50 or 60 bucks, right? The cons are, a lot of times people build bad habits because they treat it like gambling and not like something serious. So they're like, oh, it's only 50 or 60 bucks. So then they just keep spamming them while they blow it up. And then next thing you know, it is $800, right? So the pros to like a personal account, and if you want to learn more about that, you know, you can check out NinjaTrader because you can get 2 weeks for free, right? Demo account, learn all about that. Free data for 2 weeks. You know, you can see it on the screen, but you can get into a personal account and you could probably have 500 bucks in there, right? Having one micro, and you can learn good habits and do that, right? It's, you don't have to avoid rules. Like there's a lot of different pros and cons. It really just depends on what you want to do, right? So like for instance, let me use my little brother. You guys may have seen him around, TT brother, right? He's learning, he's been trading. How did he get in, right? I've been having him use prop firms. Why? Because it has capped risk, right? So I think he blew up one account. The others were fine, right? So he blew up one account, right? And he learned his lesson from it, right? When he blew it up, it wasn't like he just lost $1,500. He just lost his one account that he got, right? So I've been having him learn using prop firms because I'm making sure that he doesn't build bad habits, because that's the biggest problem you can run into. And so it caps his risk and just allows him to learn for a lot cheaper, right? But you have to figure that out for yourself. I can't sit here and be like, you need to do this, you need to do that, because that's not how it is. All right, well, we have a new 15-minute closure, obviously a bearish closure, right? So we could look for a 1-minute fractal model if you really wanted to. It look like this. We have a nice continuation. If you were bearish, right? I can't trade away from those failure swings on ES personally, but what do we have? If you watched my video this last week, point of interest, fair value gap right here, forms a protected swing, which gives you a stop loss going into the new higher time frame candle, entry, stop loss, right? The thing is do you want to trade away from those equal highs, right? That's all. I don't really have much of an opinion on this. It's valid on ES or on NQ, right? Into these lows. I'm just not a huge fan of how it's forming, right? That's why you see me talking about other things besides the market right now. When T trades brother model, well, he just trades my model. What are bad habits you look for? All right, guys, you got to take a look into your own trading here. Figure out your bad habits. Usually they come from the form of position sizing. Position size. This usually leads to revenge trading. Going on tilt. Over leveraging. Okay. Then you have other ones where you don't have a strategy. Just randomly placing trades. Right? But the main one with like a prop problem, or how that could run into an issue, is you treat it like gambling. And you just basically blow up, buy a new one. Right? You're just treating it like, oh, I don't really care if I blow up, I just got to spend another 50 bucks. Right? When you should be treating it like, okay, I'm using this to build good habits, right? The only time you really like full send prop accounts is when you're just trying to stack them to build stuff. But like, if you're struggling with something in trading, usually it comes down to one of these things, or that. You just don't follow your rules, or it's one of those. It's really it. Like, people will be like, I keep blowing my accounts. I just can't stop. People literally say this. I can't end after a loss. I have to make my money back and end green. Okay, that's obviously a problem of revenge trading. And usually it also ties into over leveraging, because when you want to make your money back, you're like, I want to risk more so I can get it back faster, right? So how do you simply fix this? One trade a day max. If you can't follow a simple rule like this, you either need to change or you need to quit, because you'll never make it if you can't do that, right? So it's like you have to go down to the root cause of what is your actual issue. And then from there, you need to fix it, right? You struggle with market direction. All right, ready? We're gonna do this more of like a psychology type stream, right? Because the market's kind of doing its thing. Ready? You struggle with market direction. So where do you need to focus? Hindsight, test on the daily chart, practice, only trying to understand the next daily candle. What do I mean by that? Go to the daily chart. All you're going to do is go through days like this and you're going to say, okay, could I reasonably anticipate what this day is going to do? Could I anticipate what this day is going to do? Can I anticipate what this day? And the easiest is just going to be looking for candle 2 or candle 3 closures and looking for the following days, right? But just practice that over and over and over. Because when you do, that's when you get your bias, right? Like I already know based off of how this daily candle closes, how I'm going to anticipate the next day, right? Like just master that. What else are your problems? I still end up breaching account because of market situations. So this is a classic thing of blaming the market instead of yourself, right? What does this mean? You're trying to say the market is at fault. You need to do what? Take accountability. The market's not doing anything to you, right? Sure, conditions can be worse, but you're forcing trades then if that's the problem, right? So what do you need to do? Take accountability, and then you need to limit trades / position size correctly. Because what's happening is you're taking too many trades with too much risk and you're blowing up accounts. How do you do that? Limit your trades, take 1 trade a day, and position size so you can have, you know, on props, I would say 10 losers in a row. If you take 10 losers in a row, I don't really know if that's market conditions. It's just like, dude, I don't know what your strategy is. You know what I mean? Like realistically, you know, yeah, you're gonna have a run probably at some point where you're taking 5, 6, 7 losses in a row, like just from statistics. Like realistically, stop trying to blame stuff on the market. All right, let's find another one. I've been trying to pass for 2 months. Right? What is the problem here? I'm not sure, right? You got to realize I'm just guessing on this. I don't know these people personally, right? It's probably fear too small of position size. So you're probably afraid, and so you're sizing so small that your winners and losers don't mean anything. You have some sort of profit target up here. Here's where you're starting, and your wins are like this, your losses are like this, and you're just kind of chilling, right? Ideally, you want to risk where you can have, you know, those 10 losers in a row without hitting your drawdown, right? But you have your winners where they actually point you towards that profit goal, right? Find another one. I have learned so many strategies. This is another problem. What's the root cause? I've learned so many strategies when I get in the market. How do I fix this? You have no strategy. You like to think that you do because you have knowledge, right? You know a lot of different things. You're like, I know this concept, I know that. You have no strategy. Luckily for you, I have my strategy completely free on my website if you want to learn that. But really, it doesn't matter. You just need to have some sort of strategy and follow it. But that's it, right? This whole problem is because you have zero strategy. You have knowledge, you have no strategy. All right, let's look at another one. Let's talk about this one. Under trading, right? And only taking bad trades instead of everything. Bad trades, you shouldn't say that, right? This is a psychology problem because you are equating a loss to a bad trade. A loss doesn't equal a bad trade. A bad trade is not following rules, right? If your strategy presents itself and you take a loss, that's not a bad trade. You're just following your strategy. But the problem is, I don't know how much you guys know about statistics. You need n to approach infinity, right? If you understand calculus, statistics, anything like that, right? Because as you do that in your data set, you're gonna get a bell curve, right? A normal distribution of what your stats are looking like, right? And let's say you have winners and losers, right? And this is distributed, right? You're gonna have times where you take a lot of losses. You're gonna have times where you take a lot of wins, right? But until you actually get enough data, you're just gonna get random dots on a point, right? Oh, I took 3 losses. Oh, my win rate's 0. Like, no. If you take 3 losses in a row, your win rate is not 0. You haven't taken enough trades to know what your win rate is, right? And so your issue here is what? You're defining a loss as a bad trade, which is not true. And then your fear is allowing you to not take trades. You're overthinking it. If it meets your model, take the trade because you need to collect data, right? Stop viewing trading as like, oh, do I win or lose? Just view it as data collection. Oh, my model presents, I need to know if it wins or loses so I can collect data on it. Okay, right here. I know the next draw on liquidity, but can't execute correctly. So this can refine down to normally a couple things. Lack of a model / invalidation. You don't know when to trade away from something. So for me, what do I notice? If you notice even this morning, I need to have some sort of low or swing point or protected swing that I can trade away from, right? That's my invalidation, right? So you need to make sure that you have some sort of model or invalidation to know what you're even looking for. The next is if you are taking this and then you get stopped out, goes to target, that is usually a time frame thing, right? If you noticed pre-open, right? I'm not going below a 15-minute chart because of this, right? So you normally will fix this by understanding what an invalidation is and what you're actually trying to trade away from, and then also move up a time frame. Everyone always will be on the 1 minute, 3 minute, stuff like that. They get stopped out, then it goes. If you just go to the 3 minute, 5 minute, you're like, oh, that was easy, right? All right, what's the next person? Nitpicky on entries. This usually comes down to a filter for entries. You are overthinking it, right? You are trying to rely so much on like, oh, I don't know if this is going to win. I don't know. And you're like trying to take in so much information. If your model is there and it prints your entry model, just take the trade, right? So for me, if everything's there and price forms an entry, I take the trade. If I overthink it too much, that's where you get into problems with yourself, right? I have a problem with holding trades to full TP. What is this an issue of? Fear. You have a fear of price going from green to red, right? So when you initially take a trade, you're not that fearful. You're like, okay, if it stops me out, whatever, right? Let's put this on here, right? You take a trade, right? You're right here. You don't really care, right? If it goes down and stops you out, it doesn't really stress you out that much. What stresses you out is when price goes like this and then it starts to come back against you. That's where you feel the fear. And that's because you think, okay, I'm losing all this money here and it can go stop me out. When in reality, you already put on the risk. You have to accept the fact that when you enter this, you're risking this low, right? Price is not just going to straight line to your TP all the time, right? It's not a straight movement. It can move around, right? So you have to accept the risk. And really the best way to do this is have some sort of 2R, whatever, take profit, and you just place the trade and you don't do anything because you're using that fear to then take it out. And what happens when you do this? Now you went and you change your statistics. At first, you needed what? A 34% win rate to be profitable or break even. When you just did that, now you require yourself to have what? 16% higher win rate. Now you have to have a 50% win rate to be break even because of how you're taking profit. So that's that. Okay, well, here's the issue. Ready? I'm having difficulty finding entry after expansion. What's the problem here? After expansion. We want to be trading the expansion, not after it. Why today was I talking about, hey, you know, we have this expansion up. It's lower probability in here because this is after the expansion, after the targets are hit, right? I want to be trading this. I don't really care to be trading this too much, right? So that's just a market conditions thing. Why sometimes C2 closure failed even though we do the right things? Well, first off, you guys have to stop expecting. Stop expecting this. I don't know why everyone learns something. They're like, hey, I'm going to have a 100% win rate. I'm never going to lose. So first off, you have to realize things fail, entries stop out, right? The second is, or let me find the question again. I do all things right, like today, 1 a.m. C2 and C3 to 2 a.m. respect EQ and a reverse. So one, things just fail, but also don't pattern trade. You need a bias, right? So those are the main things. Like today, like if you already look at the hour, let's see if we can find one. Like for instance, why would you be trying to trade this C2 here? You know what I mean? Or this C2 here. If you're trading these down, like obviously you're going to lose because market is going to where? Previous day's high. T, I met Anthony Crudelli. I said, I thought you'd be taller. Teacher told me you're 6'5". I love Anthony, man. He's a good guy. So does that make sense, guys? All right, ready? We already went over this one. I don't know if you were in here. All right, who can answer in chat? I always mess up with entries. I end up getting stopped out, and then the market does exactly what I was expecting. What did I say was the fix for this? Let's see who is listening. It's a very simple fix. Move up a time frame or two. Correct. Good one, guys. You got to realize, like, all your problems, stop viewing it as like, oh, this is my problem. View it as, what is the root cause of my problem? And then how do I fix it? That makes sense? Stop loss not placed on protected swings. Well, if that's your problem, I mean, I feel like it's pretty easy to fix there. All right, so we do have that reversal. Did ES take out the previous high? No. See, like if it did, you could trade 10 a.m. lower, but I just don't. It's really hard for me to want to trade this 10 a.m. lower when ES just has those equal highs, right? Because we do have London session low. Should at least sweep this. Equal those. Like that should run one more time, but. Q is dropping? Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing, guys. Like, price can go from one spot to another spot. Unless you have the idea for it and the invalidation, like, I'm not going to sit here. I see so many people, they'll be like, okay, it's going to go from right here to right here. I'm just going to try to take this really quick trade from here to here and just capture this easy profit. And then market like reverses and they either don't have a stop loss or like it's too high. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, stop trying to cheat your way to like capture profit in the market. Like, at least that's how I view it, right? Like, could you go down here and try to trade this 1 minute lower? Sure, right? And maybe it works, right? But how often does that work in the risk reward? Like, you're not really trading with a system, right? Usually what happens is, oh, it just left it, stops you out. Oh, and then it goes, right? And so it's like, why are you trying to do that, right? Oh, look, it's doing it. It's kind of funny. But like, you see what I'm saying? Like you can think price will go right here. You need, that's like a bias, right? You need invalidation, then you need structure. You need things besides just a bias. What kind of things fulfill our strategy? I don't know what you mean. Yeah, see, there it went, took a low, whatever. Mike, here's what I'd say about this, Mike. You're trading this, right? Usually what this means is you're kind of lacking a higher time frame bias, right? But yes, if it takes short-term highs, that can be a potential spot for a reversal. But usually if you have a higher time frame bias, you're not as worried about this because you're expecting it to expand beyond certain levels. What indicator are you using? Oh, look at this fire ad. Check out the bottom right corner. Go to indicator.ttrades.com. I feel like I should be a voice actor. Be fire. Yeah, we'll give away some more stuff. I just was teaching stuff, you know? Like I like to, would I say 1RR is bad? No. I know someone that trades 1RR and it's fine. It wouldn't work for me because of how my brain works, but they do it, right? All right, ready guys? We're gonna work on this guy's fix. All right, who can tell me? This one's like, if you guys don't get this one, I don't know what to say. I'll have to end the stream. How do we fix this issue? Trades I take hit break even, and then most of them play out after I get taken out break even. It's a very simple fix. What should we do, guys? What should we tell them? Don't go break even. Bang, we just fixed it. Let's go, guys. Well done. You guys are like all psychologists now. This is what I mean is I think a lot of psychological issues are just you're interfering with your trades. See? All right. Me and my friend use the same strategy, but he's gotten payouts and I'm unprofitable. Should I switch my strategy? All right, ready? We're going to tackle this in 2 parts, chat. Ready? Should he switch his strategy? Give me a yes or a no. Do you think it's wise to switch a strategy continuously? No. I don't think you should switch strategy because I doubt that strategy is the issue. I don't think your strategy is the issue. I think you need to look into your trading and really dig deep and ask yourself, why am I failing? Because usually it's something that you just don't want to take accountability for, right? So this could be as simple as, you know, I just revenge trade, right? You could be revenge trading and you don't want to take accountability for this. And you're like, wow, my friend is doing better than me. Well, stop revenge trading, right? Or you just need to, you just need to journal and review and figure out what am I actually doing? Because it's not a strategy issue. I don't even know what strategy you trade. It's not that, right? Like strategy is not really the issue most of the time. It's like you can't follow your strategy, you're revenge trade, you're doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing. Eval should be treated as aggressive for getting funding. Well, you guys have to realize everything in life is a trade-off, right? So what type of trade-off do we have for evaluations? What are we trading, right? Well, the first one is what? Money, right? It costs us money for evaluations. What are we using? Time. It takes us time to pass those evaluations. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to take more time? Do you want to take less time? Because how are these correlated together, right? If you want to take less time with evaluations, you're probably just like full porting them. You're going to pay more money, right? So you're up here. If you want to use less money, you're probably going to need more time. So you probably have this little curve that looks like this, right? Where, okay, I have to decide where I will fit on this, right? So you ask this question, Demon Gaming. If you were to say, for example, I don't really care if I spend more money, I just want to pass these really fast. Where are you at? You're sitting right here, right? So you're obviously going to risk more because you don't care about the money part of it. You just want to save the time on it. Let's say you're like, I mean, I don't want to spend too long on these, but I don't want to spend a ton of money. You're probably in the middle, right? And if you want to spend, you're like, this is all I got for an evaluation. I'm going to take my time with it. You're down here, right? So maybe let's give some rundowns of what this could look like. Middle ground, probably risking 5 to 7% of maybe 7 to 10% of the drawdown, right? Because what's this going to do? Takes you 10 trades or so to blow up the account. You know, you could probably win it if you win 5 in a row. So probably 5 to 10 winners passes the account. So you're spending a bit of time on it. You spent some money. Maybe you blow up one account. Okay. Let's say you're up here. What are you going to do? Probably risking like, 20% or so of drawdown, or even 50, right? Like that's up to you on how aggressively, because what is this going to look like, right? You're either going to pass this account really quick, or you're going to blow it up and you're going to spend a new one, right? Down here, you're probably, 5% or below, or I'd say probably 5% of drawdown. So what does this look like? Ready? Let's say we used an account that has $1,500 in drawdown, right? So up here, you could be risking, my math's not good, 20%. What is that, 300? 300, that's $750 per trade, right? 10%, maybe you're at like 100 to 150, right? And down here, 5%, which is 150, 75. You see what I mean? So it's not a linear thing. It's not, oh, you need to risk this amount on your trades. You have to figure out where you're sitting with this, right? Where does your psychology line up with it? And then you have to figure out how you place it. Does that make sense? So this example. Does that make sense? Like you can do this with like everything in life. Like I just make, my brain is very mathematical and I think of things like this, but that's just how I view everything. It's always a trade-off. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Take trades live so your followers can see exactly what you teach. Well, here's the thing is everyone's going to use me as a trading signal. And then when I lose, because you will take a loss, everyone gets mad at you. So I'd rather just not be liable, not put myself in a position where people are going to get upset at me, all that. Like, it's just, why? Like, I'm not trading your account. I'm not liable for it. So yeah, just don't lose. Yeah, guys. I mean, here on this channel, we're realistic. Like I would lose on stream. Like you don't trade and never take a loss. Anyone that says that, it's like they're just lying, you know? I've been trading since 2023 and I always have the bias in DOL, right? But execution is off. All right, guys, chat, simple fix. Let's tell them the fix. Rico, what are we going to do? We've already been over this one with chat, so. We'll see when whoever answers. If you lose, some won't be angry. Yeah, but guys, like it's human psychology. Someone's gonna full port my trade and then they're gonna get upset if it loses. And then they're gonna blame me instead of taking accountability. Like I've been over it. It's way better if someone just learns to trade for themselves. I can get bias. Move up time frame. Yep, exactly. Because usually what happens is you're doing this. I talked about this in a video. I can't remember what video exactly, but I remember making the graphic, right? You're taking some sort of continuation here, right? But this is a higher time frame fair value gap. You know what I mean? And you get stopped out. If you go up one time frame, it's easy that you're like, oh, I would want to wait for it to hit here, put my stop below it. And guys, don't take it personally if I'm missing your question. You got to realize there's 1,000 people in here. And you guys are sending, I don't know how many questions. Let's see. I don't know how many comments. There's a lot. I can't get to everyone, right? And like, if you want me to answer your question, that's where like my mentorship stuff comes in. Like you're always going to get an answer. One model for life. You spammed this question, I think. If you go to my channel, I have 3 videos on the model I would use. No, I told you guys I'm not taking shorts because what? I'm not trading away from ES looking like this. I can't do that, personally speaking. If you can, that's great. I just can't. What's the best way to determine draw on liquidity? So I would go to my website and click on the one that says fractal model. And then let me find a video that's probably really helpful for you. Bang, this one. Probably the easiest one for you. Easy daily bias. Like guys, a lot of your questions will be answered if you just simply... All right, let's do this. Ready? Let's do another one. We'll do another graph because a lot of people will get entitled. And this one will be titled Learning TTFM. Once again, what are we trading? Time? Money. I put my information out there for completely free, no money, right? But what is it going to do? For you to sort through all these videos, it's going to take you more time, right? If you're wanting to learn from me with my structured course, it's going to cost a little money, right? Because I put a lot of time into that. So you have this curve once again. I'd say it probably looks like that maybe. Where if you want to learn for free, you can. It's just going to take more time. If you want more structure, it costs a little money, right? It's a trade-off, right? Yo, Cole, I really don't care if you think I share, like, here's the thing. We'll go over this real quick. Ready? I'm going to ask you a question. Ready? And I want Cole to answer. How do I teach TGIF without going and finding examples? Please let me know that. How am I supposed to make a YouTube video explaining the TGIF weekly profile without how am I supposed to do that without going and cherry picking examples? Can you explain that to me? Because if you can tell me that, I would love to hear your advice and implement that into my YouTube channel. You know? Like, I would love that. How am I supposed to explain swing trading without finding examples? Can you just please let me know on this? I would love to hear your opinion since you're very vocal about it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I don't know how are you supposed to teach things, ready? Like let's say I'm teaching you Calc 2. Yeah, I'm teaching you Calc 2 in a lecture. We're gonna do a trig sub. Am I just gonna randomly write down a random trig sub that I don't know if it has an answer or anything like that? Probably not, right? I'm gonna put down a problem that's in a book or something like that. Right? So I don't really know if you have a big problem with how I teach on YouTube. I don't think anyone's forcing you to watch the videos, so you don't have to watch them at all. So. All right. If you want to troll my channel, feel free. I don't care, but I will clap back when you're saying really dumb stuff. All right. Once again, we can't trade short, guys. I already told you that because of this. All right, let's talk. Let's see here. Yeah, we can do a giveaway. Let's see here. Let's do a I'll do one. All right. Let me double check this link is right. All right. We'll do another giveaway here. There you go. Blue Guardian 50K reserve. This is very similar to the Flex account from Lucid. Here is the code for whoever gets it. Did Cole ever respond or did he just leave? You guys want to, right? If you want to talk about psychology, we can talk about the psychology of people that hate on social media. Haters on social media. Hint. I have a lot. This is how I learn about people. Ready? Almost every single person I have found that hates, they are either one, struggling with something in life and need an outlet, so they want to hate on me, which is fine. I'm a pretty good therapist, apparently. 2, projecting some sort of insecurity / failure. Or 3, sad, but they're just broken, they want to hate. Usually this happens is they deal with something in life they want to outlet, so they're just going to come hate on someone. That's fine. I don't really care. This is the main one, is a lot of people who struggle at trading or can't make certain things work, they'll come hate. So let's say someone tries to use fair value gaps and they failed with it. They're going to go hate on every video about fair value gaps because it didn't work for them, right? Or they're broken trolling. That's usually... I have a funny sticker in my Discord about that. Why don't you consider previous day high sweep as an SMT? I do, right? Where is previous day? There. I do consider that as an SMT. But the structure doesn't align for anything for me to trade shorts. That's what we were talking about. Right? They're just perfectly equal highs here. Can you do a back test in a live stream? I mean, we could. T, are you an engineer or a mathematician by education? I went through every calculus. I did calc, all the stats, calc 1, calc 2, multivariable differential equations, all of that. Because I was in engineering before I switched my major. So my favorite class ever in university was calc 2. Like that was by far my favorite class. I think I got like a 98% in it. I like never missed questions on that thing. It was fire. All right. Do you think about how many lives you've ever changed for the better? We can talk about this. You know, I kind of like doing this Q&A type thing. Wait, hold up. Because I feel like it's more creative. It's really hard. So already, like when you help people in person, let's talk about it. When you help people in person, it's really easy to see that change, right? I know people watch my videos and can help them. I just sometimes don't actually see it. So it's a little bit harder to kind of conceptualize if I help people, how many people I help, stuff like that. Can you read gold a bit? Sure. I mean, like I said with gold, we're really just interested in if it closes over this level. It's already expanded today. We want to be entering. Guys, here's a very easy tip. I've tweeted it out. If you want to stop chasing trades, enter around the opening price of the higher time frame candles. So if you want to stop chasing trades, screenshot that, right? Go look at all the trades that you chased, right? I want to be entering around the opening point of the higher time frame candles, around or near, not after the daily candle's already expanded. Let's go to the 15-minute on NQ here, right? Let's say I wanted to trade this move up here. Is it better to be entering somewhere in here around this candle open, or up here? Let's go explain this, right? Let's remove all the charts. If I'm trying to trade this expansion in C3, I want to be entering around this opening price, not after it already made its range, right? Because then it consolidates. I need to wait for a new candle, right? So going to gold here, same thing, right? We're on the hourly. Do I want to be entering all the way up here after it's already expanded? No, I want to be entering around or near the opening price. So what's currently happening? Not a whole lot, right? Could it still get a continuation from here and go up there? Yeah. But I just prefer to just trade the easy expansions. Does that make sense? Yeah, you can use ADR. you can just look at the daily candles. Like I just really look at the daily candles and I'm like, all right, how much are these going? The larger range size, 120. This one did 60. These ones are like probably 80. So I'm just guessing like 80 to 100 maybe, right? All right, we're already at 90, 85, somewhere in there. It's already expanded a lot. Does that make sense? You said drop a flex eval. All right. We can maybe do that. All right. lucid.ttrades.com. We'll pin it. You can go there. I keep messing up and I can't pin it. All right. It will be we'll do a 50K. Let's do a 50K flex eval. There you go. 50K flex eval. So ADR is average daily range. You can also use it, it's a fractal concept, right? So it's just average range of the candles. You can use average true range. Basically, you're just looking at how far candles generally expand. And you can just assume that like, if we were seeing candles, on the gold here, go 100 points. After it goes 100 points, you don't really have too much expectation for it to expand much further. Let's go. You got it. Nice. Oh, are you? You were ready for that. Oh, you won? I mean, cool. All right. But let's see. Does ES gone and taken out the highs yet? Maybe. Hey, it's getting close, guys. Which usually means NQ should be on its way as well. Switched YM stronger. Do you see how the strength switched? YM's now strongest, NQ's weakest, ES is reaching for that. But does it make sense, guys? The whole plan, what was the plan today? Plan is NQ into FEG, then see if frame shorts, right? Essentially, or if it reverse. The plan was there, right? These had to move lower, but I'm not trading away from that. Does that make sense? Weekly giveaway, how to enter on Lucid. So I'll take a photo of this and we can explain it really quick. On my prop firm side of my website, if you can naturally just enter, if you use code TT at Lucid, Futures Elite, or Blue Guardian, you're just automatically entered into an extra giveaway. If you win, I'll send you an email with a code. So I do that every weekend. The other way is you can just enter on the website in here. Just every week you can just input this, and then if you win, you just get an email sent out. It's automated. So. T, I work for 10 hours. I can only trade Asia. Any advice? All right, let's talk about it. If I was to only be able to trade Asia, this is my personal take. You got to realize other people like to trade Asia, lower time frames, all that. I don't. I view Asia as a spot to enter the daily range. So the whole idea for me is if I have a candle 3, so I'd want to trade the daily where I'm having a candle 3 or candle 3 closure, candle 2 closure, candle 3 closure, some time that I'm expecting the daily candle to expand. And in Asia, we have some sort of protected swing that we're opening near. I would be taking positional entries near that. Right, so let's see if we can find an example for you. ES finally took the high. It's a bit lackluster, not fun. All right, let's see if I can find you an example of what I mean. This isn't going to be a perfect one, but we're close to it, right? Let's say we're expecting downside here on the indices, which makes sense, right, on this next day. If I'm wanting to trade in Asia, a lot of people will trade it on the lower time frames. I would only be looking to trade it in line with a daily candle off some protected swing. So if I'm sitting here, this is our EQ, our T-spot. We want this to hold. Do we have any points of interest in here? No real fair value gaps, right? So ideally, price sweep something out in here. But what do we not want to see? We don't want to see this high taken out, right? So that's technically an invalidation. really, I wouldn't want to see price trade much up towards these bodies even, right? I'd want to see a smaller one. So what I could do is look for some sort of entry in here. Normally it's a little bit better if you have some sort of gap right in here and you can place a limit, have your stop, and then you could be looking for, 2R. So it's like entering more positionally. I think it just drops here. But does that idea make sense? Right, like I'm just trying to look to enter that. So for instance, similar today, if I'm trying to trade Asia in here, right, I'm trying to trade it for the daily range, which usually means I'm going to enter somewhere around Asia. This is a reversal, so it's more difficult. But I'd be entering long somewhere in here. My stop somewhere on this low. And where am I looking? Previous day high. There you go, right? I would personally be using the daily and hourly for that. That makes sense? Do a Fivers giveaway. I'm not affiliated with Fivers, so I can't really give away anything. 1 Lucid Flex. I already gave away 2 Lucid accounts. We can do a Tradeify, maybe? Will you do a video on Shrink Switch? I don't know what Shrink Switch is. How do you suggest building those better habits and getting more confidence with TTFM? So there's a few ways to go about this. That's really quick. I just want to check one thing. Yeah, that makes sense. Most likely, if NQ is going to consolidate over its previous day high, what does that mean for ES? ES is going to want to go to its previous day high. So that's where it could go the rest of the day. But let's go. We're helping people right here. How do I get more confidence? Hindsight test to learn model. Then it is forward testing. Right? So you have that right. The main thing is you're going to reach a point in trading. Everyone does this. You have some sort of, let's just call it conflict, right? How do you go through that? So a lot of people will take a loss. It really affects them emotionally. How do you go through that? Do you revenge trade and do the things you know you're not supposed to do? Or do you just take the loss and move on and end your day there and come back the next day? That's how you're going to build bad habits, is going through those things that are hard, right? It's going to be hard. Do you want it to be hard and to progress? Or do you want it to not be hard, or it's hard but you don't progress? You know what I mean? Like either way, it's going to be hard. You got to choose which one you want. Do you own Lucid? No, I don't own a prop firm. I don't own a company. Dude, if I owned Lucid, I don't think I'd be streaming every day or anything like that. Like I'd just be running that business. You know what I mean? I think that takes a lot of effort. All right. I own CME. Sure. All right, I'm not going to tell you what account it is, but this is for a Tradeify account. So you can go find out what it is. It's one of those accounts, so there you go. Indicator giveaway. We'll do it right at the end of the stream. What did you major in college? I was computer engineering. Then I switched to business when I wanted to drop out. Pretty much. All right. We already went over Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I'm just looking for the 27K mark, or 67K mark right up here. Guys, I said the code was for Tradeify, but I didn't say what account type or anything like that, because I wanted to give other people a chance and have a little more luck involved. Thoughts on equal lows on ES? Do you mean on the daily lows down here, or what? If you mean this, we can talk about it, because I think this is actually a good lesson. We have equal lows right here, right? Am I going to want to trade ES right in here with these equal lows? No. Once it's already formed its reversal and now it's in a continuation higher, not even close to it, I don't really care as much about it. That makes sense. Bias, misread, please. I don't know what you mean by bias, misread. Oh, sorry, I can't help with that. Hey, what are these codes that you put up on screen? So these codes are usually for a prop firm account that gives you a free account. So usually 100% off. So it's like basically dropping $70 to $100 in chat each time I do it. All right, we're gonna do something like this. Ready? Make sure you have your email in your YouTube description, right? TT Bro is going to come into chat and randomly choose 3 people and email you 100% off code or indicator. Got it? I'm gonna start have him doing that because otherwise it takes too much of my focus off and Alright, I'm trying to read these. But don't spam chat. If you spam chat, you're not gonna get chosen. Alright, you guys are. Please stop spamming. Ready? Look at what I just said. Do not choose people spamming. So all of you that are spamming are not gonna get chose, guys. Oh my. You guys cannot follow directions, can you? Like you actually just can't follow directions at all. No, guys, there's no code. Please stop spamming. Oh my gosh. Yo, this is actually mad annoying, guys. I think I'm gonna end the stream if you guys keep doing this. How will he pick? Randomly. He'll look at people that are not spamming. Oh my gosh. Alright, ready? You will not be entered if you type TT bro in chat. Alright. You're not entered. You're not entered. Oh my gosh. Guys, the whole point was so I didn't spam chat so I could answer people's questions. Oh my gosh. Okay, next time I'm just not gonna say anything. This is so annoying. Alright. Random question. How many miles per gallon do you get on your car? I'll put it in 2 words. Have fun mode. Cruise mode. Have fun mode is usually like 8 to 10 miles per gallon. Cruise mode's like 18 to 22. Basically like sports mode ripping around. A read on the economic calendar. There's like nothing on the economic calendar this week. There's nothing. Nothing important. What does it mean? It means when's the volatility and stuff gonna come in? I mean, I'll just focus on 9:30 and 10. Pretty normal. Not that deep. Hey, sir, you look for resistance if your entry on M5 but have H1 FEG resistance. Usually that means you lack a bias. You're just trying to pattern trade stuff. Reasons to fail when it comes to bias. I actually have a full video about that. Invalidation. You're going to go to my site. You're going to type in invalidation and hit trading the invalidation of daily bias. And that will explain it to you. The code for which you gave for Flex doesn't exist. Well, someone already used it. It's one code, so someone uses it and then it's done. I mean, Kane has a Brabus G-Wagon, so I don't know if he's getting a Urus. I haven't heard about that. Can you review relative strength SMT for today? Sure. I mean, going into the day, you guys asked me. I mean, we can talk about the overnight. I can also grab the clip from that. I was talking about it last night for being bullish, but basically going into here, just look at the daily candle, right, and how it's formed. We're so close to previous day high, nice and green. Look at YM. Where is it? Previous day's highs up here. It's so small. You know that NQ is the strongest, right? And then going into the open is what your question was about. We can fast forward ahead. What do we have here? We have a nice little V shape here, but mainly ES is taking out this low, or even that low. Doesn't matter, both of them, right? So it shows me that we're taking out a significant low within this range on ES. So if we are going to form some sort of move higher, it'd be there, which then says, all right, if we have this gap, we swept this low, I'd want to see it hold and open expand, right? Why choose NQ or ES? I got that question. NQ is the strongest. Sir, I use Goldbach blocks 2335 for precise and DFR for exhaustions and circuit breaks in your models. It gives me 90%. Cool. I don't know what the rest is, but that's awesome. Thank you for your free website. Awesome. What does Teachy Bro drive? He just drives a car. All right. Any last questions? I think that we'll probably end it here. Market's not doing too much. We don't really expect a whole lot. Ran this out. If it wants to do something, it would hold this low, respect in here, because that's a swing and trade higher. About the only thing that could happen. I'm not that interested in it because there. We can watch it really quick, but basically you wouldn't want to see this low taken if wrong button. If it's to remain bullish, you don't want to see this low taken. So it needs to stay in this range. Don't really need to over refine it. You just have to form a low in here, essentially, right below here. So the only way to remain bullish is if we form a low right here, right higher. Otherwise, and this is on ES, otherwise there's just nothing for today. It's just consolidation. I already checked Bitcoin multiple times. Do you reply to YouTube comments? Discord's easier. YouTube, I get way too many comments, so it's hard to get to all of them. How would you approach the London session if you could only trade that session? 4-hour, 15-minute model. Let's go. I got my access to TradeSake. Yeah, if you guys, I haven't really announced it yet. I'm working on a free journaling platform for you guys. So it's in beta right now. But once that's out, I'll let you guys know. How many days do you need to count in trading to measure your trading strategy? I don't really know what you mean, but I spent 3+ years working on my model. Default, just the journal platform. What's the definition of the T-spot? The name itself is quite inherently funny. I named it because it's funny. But what it means is it's where the wick should form, like where the wick should go, you know? But I don't know. I named it because it's hilarious to me. Does T-Trades drive a 2003 BMW M5 530 M Sport. No, I drive. I'll just show you. I drive this car. I drive a RSQ8 Performance. It's kind of nice. I have the same rims, all the carbon fiber, all that. All right, well, nice reaction from ES there. Do you guys, does it make sense why that's the area we need to hold? Like this is a protected low within trading in this range. And then this is a lower time frame low that needs to get swept out. For how I would define it. How can I speak smooth like your explanations? I mean, I was not good at public speaking, but I have a YouTube channel for the last like 4 years. So when you make a YouTube channel, the YouTube videos, and you practice speaking every week for 4 years, you get a bit better at speaking. Yeah, the overall structure is pretty ugly. This is protected because, look at this. If we close over this candle, let's clean it up. I'll show you. We close over this candle here. What do we not want to see? We don't want to see price return to below 50% of that, really. What's below 50% of that? This swing. I don't want to see price return to that level. So if I don't want to see it return to that level, I refine it down. It makes sense. We don't want to see that. I don't really want to see price get a deep run. So I'm just looking for, here's a down candle. This is a low below it. So I just wanted to see that swept out. But end of the day, like this is a pretty poor structure. Were indicator winners chosen? They'll get an email. I don't know if you... Oh, yep. I can... These are the first part of your email. If that's the first part of your email, then you have won it. So you can check your email and you'll get an indicator code. Are you going to get more screen time on NinjaTrader? I kind of like just the Tuesdays right now. I mean, I could if I want, but I've been busy working on stuff, so... Recommended YouTube channel for public speaking. I don't know. I never watched anything on how to public speak. I just basically spoke. I've gotten good at live streams and stuff. I haven't practiced going out and speaking publicly, so I don't really have much in that regard. Why is it poor structure? I mean, to me, it's just not the best structure in terms of seeking trades here because where are we at within the daily candle? We're already up here. Price has already expanded for most of the day. NQ already hit its targets that we wanted. Like, could it, trade towards this high? Sure. It's just not as ideal. Why is C2 getting failed today on 30-minute and 1 hour? I don't know what you mean. What C2 are you talking about? The bearish? We went over why I'm not bearish. Bullish? I mean, I wouldn't be trading these swings unless you're looking to TP at those highs we were talking about. I mean, I just went over why this could form a low to trade higher, but yeah, I mean, if you know what anatomy of humans is like, you will understand why I named it the T-spot. That's all I can say. It just swapped out a letter. On NinjaTrader, we have weekly bias in there. Anyway, we can have daily bias. I mean, that's kind of what I do in the live streams, but... how does your scalping model compare to the normal 4-hour 15-minute model? Just lower time frame. No, I'm not explaining where T-spot is derived from. If you don't know what that is, you just... I don't know how to say that. You've never... I'm not going to say anything. I got long 10 a.m. after this 30-minute... What 30-minute? I mean, yeah, you just like, unless you're entering, or once again, enter around the open of the higher time frame candle or below it if you're bullish, you know. All right, we'll probably end the stream there. Gave away, let me see if I have anything else to give away. Gave away the prop firm accounts that I had there. Yeah. That's mostly it. We will run, I'll tell you guys this. I am planning on running some sort of discount for the indicator for 500,000 subs plus an update. Got an update coming. And so I'll let you know that is in the plans for probably next week, something like that. All right. What time are you on Ninja Trader TV today? It's always Tuesdays, 8:45 a.m. So, what achievement in life are you most proud of off the charts? Helped my parents buy a lake house this year, so that's pretty cool. All right. We'll end it there. Thanks for joining in. If you guys have questions, you can just reach out in the Discord. But I think we'll just end it there. Ninja Trader giveaway? I think we'll do some merch or something like that from Ninja Trader. So we'll see you all later. Hope you have a good day. Hopefully the bias makes sense, right? We're bullish on the day, looking for it to trade into, you know, those previous days highs, which it already hit, right at the open. And then this is opposing our bias. ES had equal highs, so we're not trying to fade that. That gets ran out. So it's either going to consolidate or drift higher. Gold, we're focused on the closure of the day. Oil, you know, it traded into that area we were marking out as a target, right? So that's kind of it, because that's, you know, that model, right? V shape here. And then we have a consolidation, V shape. You know what I mean? Just follow the V shapes, realistically. And then dollar, we're looking bullish on dollar. Like looking at it to trade up into there, right? So let me check one thing. Let's see. All right. Yo, please give me an answer. I'm missing the questions. Sorry guys, there's so many questions. I can't get to them all. I do my best, but upcoming, yeah, I'll talk about this really quick. Upcoming free journal, right? Auto details. Yeah, so it'll be completely free for one broker connection. So like it'll automatically, you can sync it to the broker and it'll just automatically gather it and input it. And I've been working on it for a little while now. We're doing some beta testing, updating all of that past month or so. And then once that is out, I'll let you guys all know. It'll be free for one connection. You can just completely have a journal for free. That's the plan, is to help everyone out. So we'll end it there. So see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. I'll probably stream tomorrow, but I'll let you know.